Welcome to Gas and Watts. We're back here with Owen and the 2007 Subaru Impreza again in this garage. We're gonna do some minor maintenances to the vehicle. Owen, why don't you tell them what we're gonna do today?
Well, we've already detailed the car and we took the seats out. We cleaned the seats, cleaned the carpet, cleaned the dash, and put protectant on it so it's all nice and glossy. So we got all that dirt and grime out of there, which was a lot. And then we actually looked at the brakes. We said we were going to do the brakes, but we checked them out and they look perfect. They look like they were just changed recently, so it would be a waste to change them. And we also were going to do an AC recharge, but we actually checked the AC pressure and it's still good. So we think that it might be another issue with the AC that we'll have to fix. But the rest that we're going to do is going to be the spark plugs and some other minor things like the cabin filter, the brake light bulbs, and the intake filter.
Let's just get started. We're gonna start right here with the cabin filter. The first thing we have to do, because Subaru doesn't make it very easy, is remove this bolt clip here. And then we're gonna open up the glove compartment here and then remove these 5 bolts here. And then these 2 bolts up here holding up the bottom dash. And then of course 2 more bolts down here with a Phillips screwdriver to access the cabin filter. All right, Owen's gonna just kind of slip it out since all the bolts are gone now. This should just pop right out. Kind of lay it there. All right, now we have access to the cabin filter right here. We're just gonna remove that cover. We'll pull out the old cabin filter and replace it with a new one. One dirty filter. So you'll look for the down arrow pointing down, and then you can kind of squeeze it, Owen, and then kind of put it back in. Simple but difficult at the same time. All right, we're just gonna put back the dash. You should be able to kind of just pull it up and then lay it there, and we'll put back all the screws. We're finished with the cabin filter. It was pretty simple, just a lot more bolts than usual. Instead of just removing the glove compartment very easily, you have to kind of remove the lower dash. But with the brake lights back here, it's easy and not easy at the same time. You'll have to remove these clips here to remove this panel here, and then there are 2 10mm bolts behind here that we'll remove to remove this whole back light, and then we'll be able to change this brake light back here. All right, let's get to it. Yeah, it does definitely look like it's broken. With that, we are done with the brake lights, before and after. We're finished with the brake lights. Now it's time for the spark plugs. So what we need to do first is remove the battery from here so we can get some space to access these 2 spark plugs over here. And then we'll remove the intake here and loosen this up to remove that piping. There are also two 12mm bolts down here that we'll need to get for the bottom part of the intake. And then once we're done with the spark plugs, we'll install the new intake air filter as well once we put this all back together. Easy, you can pull this out, but okay. Okay. Use some strength. Yep. There you go. All come out. Yep, take that. Stir. All right, now we have plenty of room to work and get those spark plugs out. All right, for this one back here, it's gonna be a little bit difficult, but we'll just pull that coil there and we'll set it aside. And then Owen has the socket and then the extension tool, and he'll just slip it into the hole. Yep. And then he'll find where the spark plug is, and then he'll be able to remove it. We don't have a actual spark plug socket, so you can either stick some tape in there maybe, or what we have is a magnet that we'll just stick in there and then we'll pull out the spark plug. All right, so Owen's gonna use this magnet here to kind of get to the spark plug that we couldn't pull out. Grab the plug. All right, look how dirty that plug is. Here's the new one, and we're gonna check the gap really quick. It's right at the 0.44, so it's pretty good. And we'll just stick it right in. And we'll do that for the other 4 spark plugs as well.
So they're pretty tight. Worn away.
Pretty tight, so put that's it. Are you kidding me? So what I did was, there's another trick you can do like this. You can take this, stick this back in, and then this will come out too.
What?
This is another trick that you can do.
So how tight? Pretty tight?
Pretty tight.
Use this well, right?
Yeah. Just get the mat. All right, we're gonna put back the intake. We're done installing the spark plugs, and we'll just put those 2 bolts for you. I think those are 12mm bolts too. So you'll have to get those 12mm.
Yeah.
And with that, we're just gonna install the new air filter into the box, and then we'll put the top cover right back on. Make sure it's in there really good. Yeah. And then we'll the bottom part. There. And now the battery.
Where is it?
Clip in the way.
All right, so that was the spark plugs and the intake filter. We put the intake back in and the battery back in and everything. It's looking good.
And it looks like my time here up north is coming to an end as well. It's a pretty good car for Owen to drive around, to kind of play around with and kind of fix if there's any other issues that may come up. Subaru's a little bit more difficult than other cars for certain things, but just a little bit more work and time to access some of the things that are a little bit more easy on other cars. But other than that, you know, I've had a lot of fun up here in Canada. We've seen beavers, bears, elks, sheeps. We kind of been traveling around BC and Alberta on this trip, and we saw some beautiful scenery at Moraine Lake, and at Lake Louise, and at Banff. So I've had a great time here up north, and hopefully, Owen, you're gonna keep working on the Subaru. Yeah. So we'll check out if he does any modifications to it or anything like that later on. With that, please consider subscribing, hit the notification button to get the latest videos that we put out. Also, if you like the video, please press the thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.